If you're thinking about buying a new condo in Kelowna, there's something that you need to know before you write that deposit check. I just pulled the numbers on every new condo that hit the market in the last 6 months, and what I found might just change how you think about new construction. I'm Mark with KelownaCondos.ca. Today, I'm going to break down the numbers on new construction condos in Kelowna, what's actually selling, what's sitting, and why paying more for a brand new condo might financially ruin you. Here's the trap. When you walk into a new condo, everything feels perfect. The appliances are new, the staging looks amazing, nobody's ever lived there. And the developer sales team, they'll tell you all about the amenities, how great the location is, and the developer. It's all emotion. But here's what they won't tell you. How many condos have sold in the last 90 days, how many condos are unsold, and what the prices have done since the pre-sales. Guess who the sales team works for? You probably guessed right. The developer. Legally in BC, they can't even represent you. If you don't have your own realtor, you're representing yourself, and the onus is on you to protect all your interests. So according to the MLS, over the last 6 months, new construction condos in Kelowna had a sell-through rate of 17%. That means that for every 100 new condos that came on the MLS, only 17 sold. I say MLS because these numbers don't include the developer's unsold inventory. If you factor that in, I bet it would be closer to 5%. If you compare that to established condos that were built in between 2018 and 2022, those condos had a 28% sell-through rate. The condos completed in 2025 are just not selling. Why does this matter to you? Because if you're buying new construction, you're paying a premium for something that the market is telling you isn't worth the extra cost. And don't just take my word for it. Let's compare using the price per square foot method. Right now, active listings for new condos in Kelowna are averaging $958 a square foot. Established condo buildings, $804 per square foot. That's a $154 per square foot difference, which is just under 20% more. For a 1,000 square foot condo, you're paying an extra $154,000 just because it's new. So let's look at the sold numbers for the last 6 months. New construction sold for an average of $923 a square foot. The established condos in the 2018 plus range, $715 a square foot. As you can see, the new condos are selling for a lot more. So let's look at the gap between what sellers are asking and what buyers are paying. New condos are asking $958 a square foot, selling for $923 a square foot. That's a $35 a square foot gap. The established condos are asking $804 a square foot, and they're selling for $715 a square foot. That's an $89 gap. So what does this tell you? Even though there aren't a lot of new construction sales, the buyers that are buying, they're paying a lot more. So let me ask you, what happens after this new condo becomes a slightly used condo? Does it sell for $923 a square foot, or does it now sell for $715 a square foot? I'll let you be the judge. So for the sake of clarity, let's break this down by bedroom count. For one bedroom new construction condos, the average asking price is $918 a square foot. For one bedroom established condos, it's $725 a square foot. That's a $200 per square foot difference. For a 500 square foot one bedroom condo, that's $100K more. Two bedroom new construction, $971 per square foot. Two bedroom established, $690 per square foot. That's almost a $300 per square foot premium for the new construction. So now you might be thinking, well, Mark, new construction's worth more. It's newer, it has warranty, the finishes are better. Is it? I've seen a lot of really great units built from 2018 to 2022. So here's the question that you need to ask yourself. Are those things worth an extra 20%? Because once a building isn't new anymore, the year built isn't really a thing. I've never actually had a client tell me that I want a 2024 or 2025 built condo. They might say newer, let's say in the last 5 or 10 years, or they pick buildings based on the amenities. Now, let me tell you what I'm seeing on the ground that the numbers don't show. Last Saturday night, I was at Water Street by the park. This is a complex with 650 units, and the building felt dead. My friends are currently renting there because of a fire at their place. They told me that the building feels empty and they've only met tenants living there. And here's what I saw that really shocked me. The amenities in the building, they're starting to look rough and beat up. And this building was just finished 6 months ago. The amenity floor when I was there on a Saturday night, it looked like a frat house. So why does this happen in a new building? I feel like it's probably because there's no established community yet. You've got a mix of investors who don't live there, renters, and a handful of owners who don't have any power to do anything. Nobody knows their neighbors, nobody's invested in keeping things nice, and nobody wants to be on the strata council. As a result, common area gets beat up, rules don't get enforced, and the building starts to feel chaotic. Compare that to a building where people have lived for 4 or 5 years. There's a strata council that actually functions, there's a sense of ownership, and people in the building know each other. The amenities might be a little bit older, but they're maintained because they care. This is what you can't see in the listing photos. You can't see that the gym equipment's already broken. You can't see that the walls are beat up. You can't see that half the building is dark at night because nobody lives there. When you buy in a building that hasn't sold out or sold to mostly speculators, you're gambling on how long it'll take for the community to form, and sometimes it can be years. In established buildings, you see exactly how the building is managed and what you're paying for. So let's talk about days on market. This will help you understand the timeline. Most of these new condos, they didn't complete until summer 2025. 78% of them came to market in June or later. So when I tell you the average days on market is 111, that's actually not the full story because most of these units haven't been on the market long enough to show you what's really happening. But here's what we can see. The units that came on the market before summer, the ones that have been available the longest, they're averaging 181 days on market. And most of them have been canceled and they were probably rented out. These condos are getting rented because the sellers paid more than they're currently worth. I haven't talked to any owners who actually bought these as rental units. Now, compare that to established condos. The ones that have actually sold averaged 66 days on market. But remember, only 28% of the established condos are selling right now. So 66 days on market isn't a guarantee. That's how long it takes when you price it right and when the unit shows well. If you're priced too high or your unit doesn't show well, you're probably going to land in that 72% that don't sell. If you're a seller trying to sell a new condo unit, price is the only lever you have. And there's a good chance that you're going to be competing with the developer. So let's look at some specific buildings. Water Street by the Park had 14 active MLS listings. And remember, this doesn't include the developer's inventory. The average price, $800,000. The average days on market, 118. And 79% of those listings are vacant. Movala has 12 active listings. Average price, $1 million. Average days on market, 54. The MLS says 50% vacant. Nolita has 4 active developer listings. The average price, $550,000. Average days on market, 106, and it's 100% vacant. Here's what this tells you. In both the luxury and the entry-level condo markets, new construction struggling. So why is this happening? Why are new condos sitting on the market when they're often the most desirable? Well, I think there are 3 reasons. The first reason is pricing. Developers base their pricing on their cost, not based on what the market will actually pay. They've spent X amount to build the building, so they need to get Y amount to make it feasible. Right now, though, the market doesn't care about costs or profit. The market only cares about value. Established buildings offer better value across the board. Second, there's been a real big shift in buyers. 3 or 4 years ago, buyers were lining up for pre-sales because the market was hot and they thought they could flip them for a profit. Most of these buyers were from other parts of Canada. If you read the paper lately, I'm sure you've read that the pre-sale condo market in Toronto and Vancouver has completely collapsed. The buyers I talked to today, they're cautious. They're comparing prices, they're looking at strata documents, and they're asking a lot of really good questions. Third is market timing. We're in a buyer's market right now. Inventory is higher than demand, and when that happens, buyers have options. So let me ask you, would you pay a premium for a new condo when you could get established condo for less? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to avoid new construction. New construction, it does have benefits. You often get more selection. I have seen some units in Cabana and Movala with great lake views. Yeah, you're going to get modern kitchens and baths. And it's never been lived in. For some buyers, those things are absolutely worth paying for. But just understand that you might be paying a premium, and that premium might not come back when you sell. If you plan to live there for 10 years, I'm sure you'll be fine. But if for some reason you have to sell in the next few years, you might be taking a loss. So what should you do if you're still thinking about buying new construction? First, you should calculate the price per square foot for new construction and existing buildings in the same area. How much more are you paying, and is the premium worth it to you? Second, I would find out if the developer still has any unsold units, because if the developer does, they may be offering a discount. I remember in November 2025, Alma had a huge marketing campaign that they were chopping 20% off the remaining units for one day only. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that one day turned into many days, but it was still a good deal. Third, ask your realtor about owner occupancy. How many units in the building are owner occupied versus investor owned? I say realtor because the developer sales rep probably won't tell you. If it's mostly investors, that building, it might not have a sense of community that you're looking for. Fourth, think about how long you plan to live there. If you need to sell in the next few years, will you be able to get your money back? Remember, there's a big difference between planning to sell and having to sell. I work with a lot of people who didn't plan to sell, but for whatever reason, they have to sell. And the reasons vary. It could be a job transfer. You could even miss your grandkids. But if you have to sell and the market hasn't recovered, then you're going to be facing a loss. Here's the bottom line. Some of these condo buildings are beautiful and they have great amenities, but they might be overpriced relative to what most buyers are willing to pay right now. And if you're not careful, you could end up paying a premium that you'll never recover. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't buy new construction? No. It means that you need to go in with both your eyes open. Understand what you're paying for, understand what the market's telling you, and make sure that that premium that you might be paying is worth it. The Alma units that I mentioned that were 20% off, they were great deals, even though they were new. But if you're buying because you think it's a better investment than an established condo building, the numbers don't support that right now. If you're looking at new construction condos in Kelowna and you want someone to walk you through the numbers and help you compare them to established buildings, let's talk. I'll show you exactly what you're paying for, and I'll help you decide whether that premium is worth it for your situation. Just shoot me an email, a text, or book a call with me in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.